Test, test. Okay. Another one. Hello.
Hello, Racer.
Ah, hey. Okay, this works. The music is annoying.
Yep. Your streaming's working.
Okay, perfect. Maybe so. So what's up? Only you? I will be.
Well, I hope there's more.
Yeah. Huh. Should I really use the everyone tag? Ah, hello, Billy.
Hey, how's it hanging, fellas?
Good,
Hi.
good. And you?
Good, man. I'm pretty pumped about this. I'm pretty excited to have something to do when I'm in downtime on the server.
All right, all right. Yeah, hopefully it will work and I can teach you something. Yeah, I don't know if we should wait or if I should ping everyone or just wait. Hello. Okay.
He's got his microphone muted.
Yeah. Okay, let me try to ping.
Do we need Empyrion running?
Yes, I suggest you follow what I am doing on your screen.
Rexus, will you be recording this?
Yes, yes, I'm currently recording. So, yeah, maybe, I don't know, there are one type of humans who need to follow the steps and writing things down along the way. And there are just visually humans who can learn while watching. So do what you can do best, but later you can also watch the video.
Good.
Yeah, I think I'd much rather just take notes and then rewatch the video 300 times.
All right, all right. I mean, we don't have so much time, but maybe I can split it if it's later too long to watch in one go. So I pinged everyone, not everyone, but each individually. Oh no, the wrong one. Yeah, well, they can watch the video later, I guess. So I think we can start. Hello, Jarls.
G'day, how you doing?
Hey, good, good. It's things come after no surprise. Okay, so hello, Damon. Okay.
Hello, hello.
Hey, hey.
What's up? Yeah, it's a bit of an awkward time zone for me. It's about 12 a.m. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Nearly 2 a.m. here.
Yep.
Sorry,
Oh,
German
really?
time.
Nah, it's okay, dude.
Okay. Let me. So today, Today I want to cover 3 main topics. The time is really limited, so I doubt I will come to a lot of things today. It's only 3 questions, but it's quite a lot if you do it step by step, etc. I mean, if you know what you are doing, then it can be done quicker, but yeah, let's see. So first, one of the main questions, also from Billy, how do I add my POIs into the game? So this is quite important because I think everyone from you can, design blueprints, building cool stuff, but in terms of POIs, how you make it in the game, actually, and test it. Because testing is, I would say, even more important than building and designing whatever. So, okay, 1 guy less. 2. Okay. So I sent you some stuff you maybe downloaded already, or maybe you can do it later. But one of the things is a scenario I quickly created, workshop scenario. If you download it here, in scenarios, in the scenarios folder, Empyrion content scenarios, and here you just drop it, workshop, this one, and then it's only 1 starter planet to make it easy, and if you load it, you start in a POI. It's just easier and quicker instead of the drop pod. Okay, once you're in, we make a little example how to do it. And let me zip. Okay. Maybe this one too. Okay. All right, you start here in the base, and I don't know how good your knowledge is already about in-game commands, so maybe I repeat myself for some of you, but a couple of important things. First, DI, obviously, to get the debug information at the top center, and then GM, so God mode, and then fly. This is, so you have a player character, but have God mode permissions, so you can navigate quickly with Control, W, etc., space, C, around the world. And then, very important, later, God mode invisible, the short form, so your players are gone, and you have now very high permissions to do stuff. For example, to access structures even if they don't belong to you. If you want to return, you can use God mode fly, and if you want to stop it, you can just say God mode again or not. We need, just in case, an epic armor, so we don't get cheese so quick. EM is the item menu. You access it with H. Really basic stuff. So we can fix broken leg. Okay, so let me start actually with God mode invisible and with CM to switch quickly to creative mode. Before we were in survival mode. I'm switching to creative mode in combination with this very important command, structure integrity off, otherwise your structures might collapse. I work in creative mode for 2 reasons mainly. First of all, you can just drop bases wherever you want, So in this case, yeah, maybe I just take this here just for example purposes. And another quick command is debug menu. This is handy to set the daylight so you see something, and yeah, just freeze it. Okay, I think I missed one command. Yeah, SBP. This is just for spawning any structure you want. In combination with a God mode invisible, you can even break Playfield specific limits. Like on ECC, for example, you normally can't spawn a base, but with God mode invisible in this command, you could. Okay, so imagine you have a POI like this, or whatever, and you want it on a planet. Maybe this POI is a little bit specific because it's floating. Yeah, so let me maybe rather use this one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Okay, this is also quite interesting. I'm at the green wall, I think. No, okay. This is interesting because here you see a couple of issues in a moment, so I think it's a good example to use this. But just in case you build it this here, and yeah, I don't spoiler too much, I don't show you anything inside, but a little teaser. Okay, so first things first, you have to name it, you have to save it. And saving is quite important already, at least for me, because I have quite strict naming conventions. I have a prefix, HWS, and then a category, a letter, like M, for example, for mission, or CTR for commodity trading, etc. So this will just help you in the long run. So let's say this here is HWS, then a mission, because it will be a Stargate mission later. And then, because unfortunately, we are limited to a specific character count. So you also have to be short and precise. So let's call it for now EB2. Yeah. Okay. After you saved it, you're not done. You have to find it again. And then you have to double left click on your blueprint. And then I recommend hello. And then I recommend to name it exactly like you named the file. So just for explanation quickly, you have your blueprints folders and you have your EPB file. This is this here on the left side, and the group name is something inside the game will take it. And I recommend to name the group name exactly like the blueprint file name, because it is a lot easier to work with later. But then the name can be whatever, EV HQ for now. And then, so the spawn name is obviously the name you will see in the game later on. It's also very important if you set teleporters to it or from it. And then you have other important things like the offset. And if we just set it like this for now, you see already this here should be the foundation, the baseline, where the terrain will be. But this here is kind of, hidden stuff below the ground. So This means we have to work with an offset. If you are like Uber Pro, you know already the offset. Otherwise, I think the quickest way is try and error. But you can, of course, make some helpers like this, da-da-da-da-da. And one block is 2 meters. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then whatever. So let's say, just for now, -20. Keep topsoil. This is basically if you have a if you have a POI, then you telling the game, should the POI change the decoration around it or not? If you activate keep topsoil, it means it will be exactly like the terrain is, so in this case grass. If you remove topsoil, it will be kind of dirt, brownish dirt. Okay, so yeah, whatever, we keep it. Removal is obvious, I think. It will just wipe everything inside its bounding box, like here, cut it out, basically. So, yep. And flattens ground means, yeah, it should be aligned horizontally, which is also what we want. Otherwise, you have terrain here in the windows. So, depends on the setting and on the planet. Okay, so let's for now do this. So if you now go into your blueprint folder, you have this folder here, what you saved. And now it's very important that you go to your workshop scenario. This is now the important thing. Some are missing. And go to the prefabs folder. And here you paste just your blueprint you saved previously. And now the scenario knows that you are working, that you want to work with this blueprint. And I just realized I called it HWS. This is maybe not so good because it's a generic workshop, but whatever, you get the point. Okay, next step, very important. In case you work with this tool here, the EPD, I highly recommend to work with the tool, because otherwise you have to dive in such config files and YAML files and do it all by yourself. You can do it and you get a cookie if you do it, but it's prone to errors. I mean, it depends, but I really recommend to work with the tool. But if you work with the tool and you paste it, the blueprint, let me also show it here in the Windows Explorer. Normally I work with the tool Total Commander to work quickly between different folders, but maybe I can show also in the Windows Explorer. So here in the EPD tool, you have to go to Tools and then to re-import all prefabs. And this will, as you see, crawl every scenario prefabs folder, every POI you just recently added. So you just have to click the button, the feature, if you add a new POI. Otherwise, it's stored in the database. This takes a while because I have some blueprints. In the meantime, if you have questions, feel free to interrupt me and ask. I mean, you can watch it also later, of course, in the video, but just in case. And also I plan to do it 3 hours now. And the last hour is maybe your most desired question you want to know, just in regards of the timeline. Okay, now it's finished. And if you go now to here in your tree, to your workshop, and go to your workshop starter planet, which this is, and now you go to POIs, you see here the destroyed facility. If you double click, you get the POI specific window. And the destroyed facility is nothing else than this here. So what you can do now, the quickest is you select it and press Ctrl C for copy and Ctrl V for paste. And then it will get headed at the bottom. And now you have to put it at the top with these arrow buttons here. Click, 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 click. Why? Because it matters. The game is looking for POIs from top to bottom. And imagine if your planet is only class 2 and you have a lot of POIs set here in the YAML, in the Playfield, then it can happen that the game is only taking these, then the planet is full, and these are just skipped. So it matters what order you put it here. So we put it straight at the top, and since it's a duplicated one, we just double click on the one we duped, and here we search for HOS EB, and here we found it. This is the blueprint we want. The tool fetched it, and if you want, it's new. The creator of the tool, I know him, a cool guy, also recently added a 3D view. It's quite cool. So you can watch directly in the tool how your POI looks like. It's quite amazing. So yeah, I mean, you know it of course, but maybe 1 year later you are wondering what it was. So, okay. And then we have a couple of options here. And I don't want to dive too much into everything, just the basics, so you can test it, because testing is what we want to achieve today in the first place. So first of all, the faction. It should be set to alien, or stupid enough, it's called legacy now. But it's the purple alien one, so it's hostile to everyone. This is what we want. If you want, you can set the difficulty modifier to 10 to make it difficult, more difficult, but we set it to inherit. Inherit means it will inherit what the planet is set to, and the planet is set to difficulty 2. So whatever. Then blah, blah, blah. I mean, you could now, if you prefer to spawn the POI in a specific biome, it could be interesting for some of POI designs. You can check the biome when you fly over the planet. And if you look here at the top right, it's saying I'm currently in the swamp biome. Here, grassland. Well, yeah. So let's say grassland. Hopefully it will work, because you have to keep in mind, and this is also very important, the more stuff you fiddle around here, like spawn it in grassland, spawn it on the water, spawn it not near this POI and this POI, you add a lot of dependencies for the game. And the more dependency you add, the more performance issue it needs for the game to, to place the POI where you want. So yeah, just to keep in mind, we don't need a drone base. We want it only once. Otherwise, this is also important. You set here the amount, how often your POI should spawn on the planet. You, in situations like this, I always recommend to make it important. We don't need resources spawned near it. We don't want drones to spawn near it for now. Otherwise, you could set here the probability. So 1 would mean 100%, 50%, and so on. We don't want drones. And the rest can be skipped. Skipped. And this here is very important, the POI properties. First of all, do you want that the POI should regenerate or not? This can be set here. Most of POIs on HWS are set to 720 minutes, but in this case, it's a Stargate mission, or should be later a Stargate mission, so you don't need it, basically, because every time you go into an instance, the POI is fresh anyways. Then you have a couple of other options here. The personal container, what items should be in a personal container, it's also quite interesting. You would set it here. We leave it for now, so what we can set is just, music, I don't know, some whatever music. I mean, we don't hear it anyways, but just so if you test it yourself, you see the difference. Okay, so this
is there a way to put in like a custom music track in that, or is it just the music in the game already?
Unfortunately not. You can't set your own music. It's like a file the developers put together, like a bundle, where music is, icon, pictures, and so on.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, so then when you are done, you just can press Ctrl S for save. Then you see it here at the bottom left. Save, and you see here the tool is creating automatically a backup file, just in case you want to go back to an older version. Yeah. Okay, now now the tricky part comes, because you will see. First, you have to log out to the main menu. And then let me show maybe in Windows Explorer so you can maybe follow better. Okay, first you have to know in what game you are working. It's the new game. Okay, so we are in the right folder. Again, it's Empyrion, the root folder, then saves, games, and then new game. And here you have everything the save game contains right now. But I forgot one thing. It's a keep in mind story, so to speak. We left the save game in creative mode. This is not so good, because in creative mode, if you spawn again into the save game, then every POI is gone. It's a little bit silly, but yeah, just to keep in mind, if you want to test POIs, if you want to test the AI, the turrets, how they shoot, etc., you have to switch back to survival. So just like this. Okay, and now you have to, maybe it sounds complicated, but it's not. You just have to understand it and remember it. Okay, so on the left side, you have the scenario, and on the right side, you have the save game. With the tool, previously, we saved the file here in the scenario, obviously. But the save game doesn't know it yet, because the save game has an own snapshot of the files you had at the very beginning. So if you see here, if you compare where is it? If you compare the timestamps alone, here, if you compare the timestamps alone, you see it's not right. 20 minutes I took for saving the new file. So what you have to do now is a couple of options. The lazy one is you select templates, you select Playfields, you select the global database, this is new, and you just delete it. This is the lazy mode. This is what I'm doing most of the time. It just means you wipe everything. You just want to have a clean, fresh Playfield, what you did here. Because once I start the save game again, click, you see here in a second, it's creating the templates folder new, the Playfields folder new, and the global database new. Oh, I probably forgot to also delete the shared folder, but let's see. More or less no error. Okay, this is a feature. Don't mind. Okay, so what I did, or what the game did, is it fetched obviously the new files into its save game. So we have a fresh one. You see the EGS Flying City is gone. It's completely wiped. And if you just, what you can just do now is find your POI you spawned. So you have to remember how you named it. We named it like this, and then you see here the ID. So you just say TT teleport to that ID. And then you see the work in progress, like this. This is, to be expected. Okay, let me freeze the sun. Okay, so we have it, and the POI is there, and if you want, you could already test it, like AI, etc. Because it's set to alien and good to go. But obviously you want to fix this, right? This is what I mentioned before. This is a little bit tricky and a little bit nasty too, because it requires from you to do a couple of things now. And that is, first of all, you spawn it fresh. At least this is my workflow, so you have it separate. Okay, and did I forgot? No, SE off. And now the logic is like that. The bounding box is removed because we told the game here, remove the terrain. The issue is that it's kind of naked, right? And not properly. I mean, this is here and this is there, and well, the grass anyways. Okay, so how do we fix it? First, you have to keep in mind that the game spawns stuff like in a square or a rectangle. If you have a round POI, for example, it would be still cut out like this. So this is also the reason I had to manually add these, corners. Originally, it was a round shape, but I had to add these corners to not show the player like this here, cut out. So yeah, we have to create a rectangle, a baseline. And for that, the game is helping you with these blocks, filler blocks. You don't see it if you click on blocks, you have to search it manually. So you grab your filler blocks and then you add it to the POI. I'm just thinking if it's useful, if I'm doing it now. Yeah, because I think the lesson should be just how to add POIs, but maybe it's general. It's useful. I don't know. You have to tell me.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is great. I didn't know
Yeah.
these existed. This is awesome.
Okay. The filler blocks. What are they doing? Basically, they fake the terrain. So the filler blocks you see here are in the end terrain, like in this case grass. So that's the whole magic to it. So filler blocks are also the way to go if you want to create caves, underground.
Ah, that's how they do it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so you have to everything you have set in your foundation. You have to see here at the top, like this. Yeah, I think you have to, fill it. So this should, in theory, it's quite some time ago I did it. Normally you is building POIs. But that's it. So we override it. And what you have to do now is, let me create a new window. You have to go in your blueprint folder. No, not deathmatch. And grab the EPB file again and put it in your prefabs folder. And then it's, overwritten with your new one. And now, let me think, should be covered. Okay, you see already here the offset was a little bit too high. So let's, for now, make it -10. To keep in mind, a little notice, if you double click on a POI and change these data, these fields, whatever, it's a little bit tricky in Windows because Windows does not recognize a new timestamp. It's sometimes very annoying, but just to keep in mind that it is done, even if it's not visible, but you can be sure it's saved. Okay, so like this. And now the same game again. Switch back to survival. Database, templates, shared, and playfields, and wipe. Fresh. Okay, resume. Go. And yeah, you think this is ridiculous and stupid, but hell yeah. You need to do this every time you want to test stuff.
Is that how Alien does it?
Yes, that's the way to go. I mean, honestly, there are a couple of there are commands who should help you, like the Playfield command. The Playfield command is reloading the playfield, and normally it should do the same, but from my experience, it doesn't. So this is, the bulletproof method to make it clean, fresh. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, now you see still issues. So the filler blocks didn't work. Oh wait, let me just in case I missed. No. Okay, we have the right POI, and the filler blocks. Or what should have happened is here should be grass. Maybe it's still too high. But 0 would be strange. But okay, let's set 0 for now. And 1 second.
So is that number referencing the absolute bottom block, or is it the core, or is it where you started when you made the first block? Or is it completely arbitrary?
Good question. It's taking your origin point, the pivot point from your POI.
Okay.
As far as I know, you don't see the pivot point. I just know you can clear the pivot point. And normally, technically, the pivot point should be the center of your structure.
Is that a one in the debug menu? The point thing, center of mass, or is that a different point
Center of mass, I think, is only available
for the ship?
for ships regarding the
okay.
RCS and thruster thing.
Okay.
As far as I know, at least, as I said, it's some time ago. Yeah, I don't see it. At least if it's not a X-frame. Yeah. Okay. So I think what I missed is actually.
Do you have to do the filler blocks later, or can you do it when you do the original design and blueprint?
Yeah, good question. You can do it later, but you have to be very careful, because if you have, for example, if you have a structure and you want to put filler blocks on it, okay, you do it. But maybe at one point you forget to switch to creative mode. So what could happen is, at least what happened to us a couple of times, is you spawn it now. And then you I have to go to the ground because it's not creative mode. You see already, if you forgot that your POI has filler blocks and you spawn it in survival, your filler blocks are gone. If you save it now, all the blocks are gone, and this is loss of progress. So always remember if your structure had filler blocks or not, or if you want to be safe, always spawn stuff in creative. Yeah.
But what you showed us was that you had the structure, the elemental bank structure, and you got it to spawn in, and it spawned too low with the ground not continuous. Then you put in the filler blocks. Now, could you have put the filler blocks in the original on the original structure, or do you have to wait and do it later?
Yeah,
like you did it?
You have to update your POI, and then you have to wipe your playfield. If I understand you correctly, you want to change it while it got spawned. This is not possible.
No, I was thinking when you actually design the original building, could you put the filler blocks in then?
Yes.
You mean?
What he means?
Yeah, I think that's what he means.
I think the answer is yes to that, because filler blocks is just like a block to the game. It's just
Yes.
and then it treats it differently. So you could design it early, later, whatever you like.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So it could be done all in one go.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just forgot or I wanted to show you the issue. If you
Oh yes,
build,
I realized you wanted to show us. I
right,
just wondered whether that had to be done exactly that way, or whether it could be done all in one go.
yeah,
Well, yeah.
That's fine. Yep.
What he said before is you can use it to make caves, so that would sort of
yes,
mean that you could
That's
build
true.
your design around filler blocks kind of thing if you wanted to add. It adds a whole, well, for me at least, it adds a whole another dimension that I can add to the POIs, which
yes,
is great.
yes, right. Just for reference, maybe. I mean, maybe you remember this structure. Wait, not this one. This one. So it's similar. You have filler blocks at the bottom, at the top, so it's just terrain, but suddenly you also have stuff like this. The reason here are just blocks are because of a bug previously. I think the new version has only filler, at least outside. Yeah, there were a bug with filler blocks in combination with structure integrity, but I think it's fixed. Yeah, so this is how it should work. I just have to think why it didn't work with our little bank. Maybe.
I think that's EBHQ1, the one you have spawned right now. It's not 2.
Yes, right. And yeah, this is all set. Maybe I messed up with copy paste the files. So let me just quickly this and this gone, and just to be safe again. Okay. So I'll yeah, try and error. Sometimes it's also a little bit frustrating because you don't know if you have to restart the whole game or just reloading the save game. Like this here, for example, it is already the first challenge for you to figure out. And I mean, this is now the thing and the interesting thing about Empyrion. You will find out what it is, what went wrong, but you need time for it. So I don't know if we have time for it right now. This is also missing. Crestland, this is good. I mean, we could also spawn it on water, or here, just in case, you can on water, underwater, and terrain. These are your options. For the flying city, for example, it's also interesting.
Do the filler blocks work with water?
I mean, interesting. I mean, I think it would work because water is nothing else than a block ID. But for water bases, it's easier if you just remove this here. If you remove terrain removal, water is terrain in the game, then you just have a underwater building.
And water in the game is just like a top layer. Like
yes,
if you can just go straight through it.
Yes. It's like here layers. Water is the same, unfortunately. Right. It's not a volumetric yet. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if we have the time to debug this right now, or did I forgot something? I mean, the first issue is already that the building, the offset is not right. It's still not respecting. I think.
You know what I think it is? If you go to your Explorer, I think the sizes of two files, you were copying the smaller size, and I think it's the higher size.
You mean I mess up with?
Yeah, there's 2 kilos. See that 39 and the other is 52.
Yeah, this
This
is
is
just
like
the image.
yeah, that's okay.
This
Okay.
is this is not. I think I had this issue before. I just have to remember what the fix was.
Just a side question here.
Yeah, sure.
How do you control where the POI is going to spawn at? Is it the planet deciding it where it's going to spawn it, or?
Yes. In the tool, in the Playfield YAML, so to speak, if you double click here now on the POI, you have a couple of options. Here, where it should spawn in a biome. In this case, I said grassland. If you fly here, you see at the top right, grassland.
Yeah.
So
I see.
it will never spawn in the forest. Second option is, well, you can also exclude, but second option is you want to spawn it near, a different POI. And then you can set it here.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm kind of curious, because back in the official game, they were kind of warning us to not completely wipe a POI. So I'm curious if the game can spawn POIs automatically, randomly, why are they cautioning us not to do it?
You mean if you, for example, dismantle a whole abandoned mine?
Yes.
Every single block, and then it don't regenerate. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, this is
if you destroy every block of your CV, there's nothing left for you to build upon to bring it back or repair or bring to a repair station, etc.
Yeah, but I'm kind of curious because based from what Rexus is showing us, the game could dynamically regenerate it on a restart or something. So
it's
why not?
It's like this. You have two options for regenerating POIs, structures on a planet. First one is if you go here and previously regen after, you remember 720. This means it regenerates normally if the POI is available. So if you left at least one block. If you remove every block, then this command here does not work anymore. Then you or the server owner needs this command.
Oh my god. Okay.
This one. What this does is you take the Playfield name and then you say what should be regenerated or wiped. If you say all, then everything, player structures included. If you only say POI, like this, oh, I messed up, sorry. Because, I forgot the actual name, planet, it's called. Okay, so, and now what it does in the background, if you go to your Playfield, it's created a text file, ypinfo text. So it's just a little text file with having a POI. If I leave the Playfield now, so it's unloading and then loading again, then the file gets automatically removed and the command executed. So every POI, even the one you completely wiped out, every block would be regenerated. So
yikes.
Yikes, yeah. And the reason, and this command here, it also works with our EAH tool. The only issue is you have to set it. You don't have to forget it. And I forgot it, for example, for Pandora right now. So on HWS, there are a couple of planets where I forgot to say this command. This is the reason. I will edit ASAP. Okay.
Yeah, then that,
Mhm.
yeah, that's kind of scary because if we're looking at the game as a game, there's going to be a lot of newbies entering the game, and you
Yes.
cannot control who their knowledge, their amount of knowledge when they're entering the game. So it sounds kind of dangerous if it's wiping everything in one go.
Yes, yes. You can mess up very quickly in this game.
Couldn't you just add like a random block that's like maximum distance away, and it's just one singular block that they're never actually going to see when they go to watch the
Yeah,
whole
that
POI?
makes
Or below
sense.
bedrock, or
Yeah, yeah, something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Just an invincible block that you cannot salvage or whatever.
Yes, this is a little workaround. I mean, this was the original idea why on HWS you have so many admin core POIs. This was the first intention. Later there were other intentions, but yeah, to have always a POI for players. That's the
Okay.
reason. Okay, so the filler blocks, I mean, it bothers me. I just forgot, or I'm the person, I want to make it work at all costs, but since we don't have so much time, I have to give up. No, this should be fine.
I have just under an hour, and then I have to go back to school.
Oh, school. All right, all right.
I give
Yeah.
school more priorities than video
What?
games. So
What? No way.
You crazy person, mate. What are you doing with your life?
well, when you're learning graphic design and stuff like that, yeah,
Yeah.
No,
good on
sure,
you, man.
sure.
You're making the right move.
I have 4 electives.
Sure, sure. Well, let's make a deal that I will figure it out and will let you know in the channel what the issue was. I think it's something stupid as always. So, okay, but at least you have a POI. You could test it now, and this is what the whole point to this procedure is. And yeah, just to summarize quickly the tool, you have to re-import the blueprints you have put in the prefabs folder. Then you set it at the top if it's important, if it should spawn, because here, just as an example, if you open console, you see the first time the planet is generated, you see it's called random placer, and you see here 4 poor POIs didn't make it because 120 POIs are already on the planet, and those were just didn't make it. So the top one will spawn for sure. This, and then keep out how you name your stuff. At least for me, I'm a little bit specific about name conventions, so it's just easier to maintain later on. And then this is basically try and error to make it nice, smooth.
Since we're talking about like 120 POIs, does that count like the ore deposits?
No. You can see how or what is spawned on a planet with this command here, all and full. And then you see this here. Proxy means DSL, dynamic structure loading. So it's on the planet, but you are not near it, so it's not loaded. Hence, it's called proxy. But you see here, every POI and deposits are not part of it, but meteorites would be part of it, because meteorites are an entity.